Hello and welcome to another episode of Evolve by Erica, the podcast. This is Erica Polsinelli, your host, here to talk about all things high vibrational spirituality, meditation, 5D, and beyond. I am so happy that you are here. Come on in. Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode. We have been deep in our manifestation challenge to start off the new year, and it's brought up a lot of questions and some insight. So, I know manifestation is something that is definitely becoming more widespread. I feel like it's a word that's used very often. And as much as that might be annoying to some people, I think it's a really wonderful thing because we've stepped into this space as a collective, understanding that we have a lot more power than we have ever believed to have. And we understand that our thoughts, our frequencies will attract in our experiences and create our reality. And I think there's a difference between throwing around the word manifestation and truly taking accountability for how powerful we are and that role that we play in our experience. So I wanted to dive in a little bit deeper as we are in the midst of this challenge. Right now is the 11th, so we're on day 9. And I just want to answer some questions that I've received about manifestation. First, I wanted to share some things that have come up for me, and I wanted to answer some questions that I received from our Evolve community. So first and foremost, there are different ways of manifesting. So, one way to manifest is to actively and consciously manifest. So, thinking about what you want, talking about it, writing it down in a journal, asking for it. That is one way of consciously manifesting. Another way of consciously manifesting is maybe creating a vision board, asking the universe to align something for you. Visualization in your meditations. Those are all active ways of manifesting. And then there are more passive ways of manifesting. A few different ways. The actions that we take align us and create our future. So if we're taking action steps that will lead toward what we want, we will therefore draw that in and attract in that experience that we wish to manifest. And another way that I really want to speak about on this podcast is just holding the frequency. So you don't need to necessarily want to manifest something specific. You don't have to have something in mind which you want in order to be part of the process of manifestation and co-creation. You're already naturally part of that just by existing. Manifestation is actually quite natural. And it's something we've been doing for years, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. So when we come around to a challenge such as this one, the one that we're doing right now, we don't need to have anything in particular in our minds that we wish to manifest. What this specific meditation helps us to do is clear our arc line, which is part of our 10 bodies. It's known to be the halo over our head and across our chest, these two energy centers that women have. Men have the one above their head. We have both, but between our two breasts and over our head as our halo. And this is where we are connected most to divine. And this is where we are connected most to our energy field around us. And when we activate these spaces and when we clear these spaces, we become more in alignment to what we want, to our destiny and our dharma, rather than something out of alignment. So if we're clouded, if we have a lot of things from the past that are stuck in our energy field, that is how we continue to manifest or recreate our past experiences. It's easy to recreate the same energy from yesterday, to bring in the same experiences from the past. That's easy. The work we're doing here and that we activate through this practice is the harder stuff. It's to actually break those patterns, clear the past so that we can create a new self and a new future. And by new self, I just mean a more aligned self, our most original and authentic self. And through the practice, that is what is allowing to happen. And For this specific meditation, like I said, you could have one thing you're visualizing that you are bringing in with this magnetizing meditation, or you can just sit there feeling so good, so aligned, so happy, so connected to your higher self with zero specific intention at all. And by having zero expectation or intention, but holding the frequency and the emotion of what you want to feel, what you want to experience, what you want to bring in, that is going to help you manifest something that's maybe even greater than you can ever envision or visualize. And that's the other thing with manifestation. We can be very limited at times. We can limit ourselves and think, oh, there's no way I can manifest that, or there's no way that that could possibly ever happen. Where the universe is abundant and abundance is our birthright, and there's no lack, there's no limitations, only the limitations we put upon ourselves. So if we can let go sometimes of the specific expectation, that can sometimes help us get into a more expanded space, a space where there are limitless possibilities and potential. And I like to play the game of, I don't even realize the things that are happening for me behind the scenes in the universe. I can think, I could plan, I can act one way, but I always bring myself back to the intention that something far greater than I can ever even dream up can and will happen, because the universe is that powerful. And every day I'm working to align my energy to that frequency of limitlessness, of abundance, of prosperity, of peace. And that can look however you want it to look. That can be freedom. That can be however you want it to, whatever you want it to be. So that's something specific I wanted to share on manifestation. And I've shared in our challenge some tips on how you can go about practicing manifestation on your own. We also have just recently had a vision board creation party on Evolve. So you can go back and replay that if you haven't accessed that yet. That is another way of active manifestation. But if there's nothing that you want to manifest specifically, I know we can all agree that we just want to feel good and feel like our best selves. And that indeed is something we can manifest by doing these meditations and bringing that in. So I want to get to some of the questions from Instagram. So some of these might be a little repetitive from the 3 modules that I shared, but let's start it. First question, besides meditation, do you use another technique for manifesting? Example, visualization, vision board, etc. So I used to journal all the time what I wanted to manifest. I would write it down every single day, and that is when I wanted something very specific. And I think we go through phases of manifestation depending on where we are in our life. Sometimes we might be hustling our manifest and wanting something to come through. And then other times we may be really content and enjoying where we are right here and right now. Both are beautiful. There's no better or worse or right or wrong. So I think it depends the stage that you're in. So if you are in the stage of wanting something very specific, I would do more specific techniques, such as journaling each morning, writing down what you want and what you want to receive from the universe, visualizing that in your meditations, asking for it, acting as if it's already yours, and creating a vision board, or maybe even just writing something down that you could look at every morning. Either asking or stating that you already have it, and having that there as a physical reminder so that your energy is there. The more energy we put on our manifests, the more it's going to happen. And I have heard other people, and they may be correct, say, I've grown to the space of understanding that there are more than one truth. So I'm never going to say anyone is right or wrong, because I think that's true. I don't think there necessarily is right and wrong in a lot of ways. Of course, in some ways there are, but in this way, I've heard people who teach manifestation say, put your order in, forget about it. The universe knows, let it be. I do believe in that. I also believe in how powerful our energy is. And the more we think about something, the more energy we put towards it, the more powerful that intention will be. Because the more we think about it, the more we're feeling as if it's ours, which is helping us to draw that in. I do want to give an example of setting it and forgetting it for me. I was running about a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago in Florida, and I was listening to this really fun house track. And I thought, how fun would it be to put some of my meditations or my divine downloads onto a track where people can run, people can move, and people can dance to these inspirational words behind this extremely uplifting music. I said that would be so cool. I told Vinny about it. I thought it would be great, and I never acted on it. And then a few years later, I had a DJ work one of the events that I did, an Evolve event, and he did not know this plan. He did not know this thought. And he worked my event, didn't mention anything of this. And then a few weeks after the event, he said, I made something really cool I want you to listen to. And there it freaking was. It was one of his tracks with one of my divine downloads coming through my meditation, overlaid onto this track. And there was that manifestation. So I guess it depends what it is, how badly you want it, how quickly you want it to be delivered, in how you go about it. Okay, so the next question. I used to manifest a lot in the past, and now I feel blocked in spite of having a strong meditation routine. So I think that as I said before, I think there are times where we are looking to bring a lot of change into our life. And I think sometimes we go through these times where there's contentment and we're kind of hanging out before the next big thing, a lull. But I don't want that to sound negative. I think it's actually a beautiful thing and it's part of life. So what I would say for this is I believe in divine timing. And I think as we become more connected, as we become more clear, our manifest and the things that we're looking for might be a bit loftier or a really big shift that needs to take place in order to bring that to life. So I believe in divine timing and surrendering to divine timing. And if you feel like you are blocked, taking a moment to ask the universe and ask if there's anything blocking me from abundance or receiving my manifest, I would like to clear that. I would like to open the path to abundance and to all that I'm setting intention for, but also trusting in the universe and reminding yourself and the universe that you trust in the divine plan and you only want to receive what is for your highest good. And with this, I think it's really important to go back and reassess our manifests as well. Because as we become deeper meditators and come into a deeper routine, our frequency is constantly shifting. And that means the energy that's put behind our intentions and manifests are shifting. So going back, taking a look at your manifest and asking yourself, why? Why do I want this? And try to boil it down to the last space you can get to really understand the origin of it and just check in to see if it is aligned to your highest path, if it's aligned to love, and making sure it is not aligned to ego or anything of a lower frequency. That would be my suggestion. Someone asked, what do you think about while doing our challenge? Honestly, I feel very, 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 very grateful for all that exists right here in my life. I've manifested many things off of my vision board, out of my journal. There are, of course, things I still want to manifest. But for the most part, I feel extremely content with where I am right here, right now. And I have built such trust in the universe that I never had before. And this practice, I really started practicing and finding a meditation practice because of the lack of trust I had, how fearful I was. It was the opposite of trust. And now to be on the completely opposite side of the spectrum and surrender so deeply, I think through this process of manifestation, I learned that the universe is on our side. The universe wants to help us. Our angels, our guides are there to support us, and that we really have nothing to worry about. So it's actually brought me in much more of a back seat right here, right now. This can change, who knows? But right here, right now, I'm actually very much less of an active manifester and more of a passive one. So when I'm in that meditation, I'm feeling all the things I want to feel. The most important thing to me right now is feeling aligned to my 5D self. Because without that, I can't do this work. I can't teach. I can't receive the downloads, the wisdom, the intuition. And this is my life's work. So, my number one intention is always to feel that connectedness to self, to truth, to love, to 5D, to oneness. So, when I'm meditating right now, doing this challenge, that's what I'm envisioning and that's what I'm feeling every time. The next question is, what if you don't know exactly what you want to manifest or it feels too vague? So I think this goes into what I spoke about in the beginning. You don't need to know what you want to manifest. You can absolutely just stay in I would focus on the emotions and the feelings of what you want to feel. I think most of us want to feel free. We want to feel healed. We want to feel loved. We want to feel connected. We want to feel at peace. So whatever emotion it is you want to feel, bring that in as you meditate and allow that to be what you're manifesting instead of something so specific or something in the physical realm. It does not at all need to be physical. And sometimes it's the things in the physical that help us feel that way. But most of the time, it's that inside job. It's everything that we're doing within to help bring us to that space. Someone asked, what is a good mantra for manifestation? Ekonkar, Sadguru Prasad, Ekonkar is a very powerful manifestation meditation and mantra. So we did that for our last live together. And this is a mantra I listened to every single day while we were searching for our home. And I had a list of all the things I wanted in my home, which was extremely hard to find within our budget. Fast forward, we found it. Vinny still says it's because of me writing this down in my journal and listening to mantra every day and visualizing this home. So that's a really powerful mantra to listen to. And then you can visit any of the manifestation meditations in Evolve to practice manifestation as well. Do you recommend any books on the topic of Kundalini and manifestation? So in manifestation, I always recommend the book, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. That is a book written by Deepak Chopra. You definitely have to be in the frequency and the space to receive what he is sharing, because I remember sometimes being like, wait, this sounds like a catch-22. Like you need to want something, but then you have to detach and act like you don't want it or you don't need it and completely detach from it. But it really makes so much sense. It truly helps you embody manifestation at its core. And I always recommend that book. The Secret is wonderful as well. And I cannot recommend Esther and Abraham Hicks enough. So one of the first spiritual books I ever read was Money and the Law of Attraction, which was interesting because at the time, all I really cared about was healing my health anxiety, because that was taking over my entire life. But for some reason, I was guided to that book despite the title. And I'm telling you, I got out of it exactly what I needed. And all I remember from it is it being about making so much sense on the changes I needed to make in my mind around my health. So that is definitely a book I recommend. The Secret, of course. The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, really anything Abraham Hicks. Joe Dispenza is amazing as well, and you can look into his books too. Okay, the next question is about attracting your friends, your tribe, and your career path. Very good question. As soon as you start to work on your energy and getting very much in alignment with your truth, I believe that's when the people will come into your life. And I have to say, I got married 5 years ago, and my closest friends today weren't even, some of my closest friends today weren't even at my wedding, because my spiritual awakening happened around that time. And everything changed after. And after doing a lot of inner healing work, I was connected and brought into the lives of other people, and they were brought into my life. And I really believe it is from your frequency, because when you start to shift your frequency, you start to choose different ways of spending your time. You start to choose different places to spend your time in. And all of those things will become more aligned with your soul. With that being said, I also would write down very often, please, universe, please help me to attract in the people that I'm supposed to meet in this lifetime, the people who have soul connections to me, my soul friends, my soul family. And I would let the universe know that I was looking for that. I was seeking that. And sure enough, it was brought to me quite quickly. And I would say the same thing for career. It's challenging not knowing what you're meant to do, and I recommend the meditation for inner voice, guidance of the soul and inner voice, I believe it's called, because it can be very noisy within ourselves and outside of ourselves. And it is career. I think the idea of career is really changing. I was expected in my past career to do the same thing until I was 55, 60, and that was just going to be impossible for me. And I knew that. So allowing the universe to know that you are ready to learn more about yourself, you are ready to find what you are meant to do, writing it down in your journal, asking for it during meditations, are both very, very, very helpful. So I would recommend those two. And the last question is about consistency. And as I said before, there are many different philosophies with manifestation. And I think it's really up to you to determine how consistent you need to be with thinking about, writing about, visualizing what you want to bring in. I think you need to follow what feels good for you. So if you think setting it and forgetting it feels right, go ahead and do that. If you want to journal and pour all your energy into your intentions each morning, do it. Do whatever feels right for you. And I would also recommend visiting the books that I shared about earlier and getting guidance from those resources as well, and leaning into what feels good. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the challenge so far. We have a few more days to go. It's a very magnetic and powerful meditation. I received so many beautiful testimonials during the practice, just how connected people feel, how quickly they're already seeing shifts or feeling shifts. And it's just a powerful practice, and I'm so grateful that you are part of the challenge, if you are. And guess what? It's going to live there. So that practice and that challenge is always going to be available to you as an Evolve member. So anytime you want to go back to it, you want to freshen up on your manifestation techniques, I highly recommend you do so. It was such an honor to lead this and share this with you. So thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already rated and reviewed the podcast and you feel I deserve a rating of any kind, please visit Apple Podcasts and share your experience. It helps other people to connect to the podcast and find us here and find the Evolve community. And I can't thank you guys so much, because so many of you are always sharing about this, and it means the world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Sending you so much love. Happy manifesting, and Satnam.